got mail. Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Gal.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nick is here too, but he went to get a cup of coffee. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Another week went by, and we're still alive.
Well, what's your definition of alive?
Yeah, I know. I know. So what happened right on top of your head? What happened this week that stands out? Anything?
I mean, I no, I haven't followed anything. Mostly busy with life
Yeah.
in general. So
Well, I saw a story that really kind of. Hey Nick,
Good morning.
good morning. That kind of made me think. Says AT&T is applying to end its obligation to service landlines in certain areas of California. The application is pending under the California Public Utility Commission, but the end of a landline means the end of communications for some people. That's coming from CBS News. Well, take it with a grain of salt, kind of. The company said in a statement, our application seeks approval from the CPUC to remove outdated regulations in California and to help the limited remaining landline consumers transition to modern alternative services to replace their current outdated ones. All AT&T California customers will continue to receive their traditional landline services until an alternative service become available by AT&T or another provider. The CPUC will be holding 4 public hearings on the matter through March. And I'm thinking about landline. That was their cash cow. At this
Sure.
point, what?
I said, sure.
Yeah. But at this point, I think it's more of a burden in many areas because
Absolutely.
people are
Yeah.
just dropping and dropping and dropping.
Yeah, but you got to remember, we're not talking about VoIP landline.
Right.
We're talking
no.
about twisted pair
Not twisted pair.
copper
Copper wires. Yeah.
copper wire
Yeah.
landlines.
Right. The thing
Yeah,
that used to be there since the back in the, I don't know what, 40s, 30s.
well, these lines are probably from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm AT&T, I'm probably also looking for this same thing. I mean, you
Right.
can provide all of these customers, in all likelihood, a one of those mobile base station phone things that converts 4G or 3G or 5G to POTS, a traditional RJ11 phone jack. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah. It's just taking too much money from.
It's an antiquated system that they have to keep updated and maintained,
and it's hard to keep it up.
Sure, it's equipment that's some of that equipment is 50 plus years old. Absolutely.
Right. So it's interesting that there's still actually people that have it, and it's very expensive these days to have a landline. It's not like what it used to be 20 some dollars, $30. It's like 50 and 60.
Well, and inside of this, you might also have some T1 customers, would be my guess,
Yes, that's true.
which are still popular is not the right word to use, but actually, I'll give you a great example.
Valid, still valid.
In here, funny enough, in Wilmington, we run a church service on the radio station on Sunday mornings. That service is fed over
Earthy line.
AT&T copper lines.
Yeah.
It's a direct connection.
Right.
And they will try and shut that down eventually. So there's a lot of those use cases as well. A lot of specifically for radio, well, more radio than television. There's a lot of stations that still feed programming over copper line from a studio to a transmitter, where internet is not reliable enough, or it is impossible to feed a signal via a dish due to elevation or mountains or distance or things like that. So those folks will be in there as well.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, ISDN, but that's the same. Same.
It's all riding on
infrastructure.
T1.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It is all the same infrastructure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would assume by 2030, AT&T will probably have most of that stuff completely shut down. 6 years.
Yeah, and in most areas, let's put it this way, in most urban areas, the internet has matured to the point that it can replace those T1s and phone lines, and because a lot of companies would rather have fiber with high speed than have a T1.
But think about it like this. In the case of what's being used for audio, you now have
Yeah.
to replace that with encoders on both sides.
Correct.
There is more to that setup. Now, long term, it's probably a lot cheaper because I think leasing these lines is hundreds of dollars a month.
It is.
It's not cheap to do.
Right.
But you go from literally just running audio down a piece of copper to now having to have some sort of encoding on both sides for that audio to be transmitted, which very easily can be done. Let's be clear.
Yes, it can be done,
but it's very different.
Let's not forget that, Nick. You are immersed in that. In reality, how many people
I'm immersed in reality. Can you say that again so I can record that? That's a good line for my show.
You are. But
Thank you.
how many outfits, offices, whatever in Wilmington that you can think will need, or they right now they are using a T1 for the purpose of doing audio? It's not that many when you think.
No, it's not. Correct.
Right.
I mean, it literally might be one.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's I don't think AT&T cares about them, and
They shouldn't.
It's not.
I mean,
it's
no, they
not
shouldn't.
right. It's not. No, it's not right. But it's
Well, no, I
money for them.
disagree. I completely disagree that it's not right. If we're not in the 1980s where
Yes.
the only way to get audio back and forth is either over the air or via copper phone line. I mean, you can do it. There's hundreds of alternatives that are just as reliable as a literal piece of copper strung between two locations. I know that's not exactly how it is, but a literal pair of copper strung between two locations. So yes,
Nick,
obviously you want to provide, for your customers, but at the same time, you're providing a service that is not. There are good and better alternatives. I mean, think about the quality of the audio via the phone line compared to what you could get via a web stream. It's night and day. There's advantages to it as well.
yes, there are, and not only that. You for what it costs you to do the T1, you can probably get two I mean, you can have a redundant link through the internet,
Sure.
and it's still going to cost you less.
If you even need that, I would argue you don't even
Well-
need the reliable link, the dual link.
Well,
but guys, there's something I don't get.
Yeah.
Right. You've seen Independence Day, right? The movie.
Yeah.
Of course.
What would we do if we don't have the copper wires to do Morse code through it? That's what the aliens won't have.
I'll be sitting over here with my ham radio, and I'll be plunking away, and you guys can go to hell. That's what I'll be doing. That's such a. I need to put that on my watch list. I haven't seen that in
you use
10 plus years.
You use the light.
Well, in Stranger Things, what does the kid use in Stranger Things to do Morse code when he's tied up and trapped? Doesn't he? He's tapping on the floor, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not for distance.
No, that's when you create your smoke signals.
Yeah.
I watched an Alex Jones video on how to do that, so I'm prepared.
Okay. All right.
I'm not an AT&T apologist. I do have some sympathy for them, though, in regards to this. You've got very antiquated systems that are not making them money.
Right.
Contrary to what people want to think, a business's objective is to make as much money as possible. That's
Right.
the goal. That's the incentive. That's how they operate. And in this case, because of utility agreements that they have in many states, they're going to have to go one by one and try and get those changed. But go back to what you read. Until those customers either have an alternative provided by AT&T or another provider.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think the idea here is get this utility thing dropped and then we're just going to start excavating all of the old copper line that's up there.
Oh, they're just going to leave it anyway.
Of course, they're going to leave it. They're not going to shut down
Somebody
that
else is
service.
going to excavate it and sell it out.
Probably. Yeah.
Somebody
remember, you might have been out of this, but early 2000s, maybe 2010, something like that. There was a news article about an elderly woman, like a woman in her 60s, mid 60s. In this would be either, I think it was Georgia, in next to Russia there.
You mean Jordan? Georgia.
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 Georgia, the country. Okay.
Yeah, the country. Yeah, she dug up for copper wires, basically cutting off the country's internet connection.
Oh, nice.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that was. I'll find it. So somebody is going to excavate the copper and sell it off. That's for sure.
Yeah, just
it
like
probably won't be AT&T because it won't be profitable for them, but somebody will figure it out.
You know what I did see while I was watching the Super Bowl on Nickelodeon, by the way, which was a phenomenal broadcast. That Spectrum is running. I found this kind of ironic. Spectrum, have you seen the Spectrum commercials about how they're America's #1 rural internet provider?
No.
So they're running these commercials, and you know, I'm a little bit of a smartass. That may or may not be the case. And so they're running these commercials about how they're committed, Gal, to rural customers. And I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, the only reason you guys are running this infrastructure out in the middle of nowhere is because the federal government is paying you 100% of the cost to do it. It's part of the affordable the Internet Reliability Act that Congress passed. I thought that was pretty funny that they're touting themselves as, look at us, the kindness of our hearts, the good nature of Spectrum Communication. We're doing this for you.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of rich and funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found the article. Ties in quite good with the rural stuff.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So I found like a revisit of the article. Inside the Time, a 75-year-old woman once cut off the internet for an entire country. That's the title, and it's about a 75-year-old Georgia woman, and she disabled the internet for the entirety of Armenia, the the neighboring country. They were digging up for copper, like literally digging up with a shovel and a spade. It's completely
Interesting.
bonkers. I remember this. Yeah.
I guess they
So
didn't
I remember
bury.
this when it was reported, right?
I guess.
This was, let's see, 2000 and I cannot find the year.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, can't find it.
Very,
Not,
very interesting.
Yeah, it's funny as hell.
So, Nick, at this
So,
point, what does your company use for moving the video, the audio from one place to another?
Well,
Spectrum?
for the stations themselves,
Yeah.
the audio is done via 950 megahertz STL links.
Oh, okay.
So
wirelessly.
Yeah, over the air, low power at
Yeah.
studio to transmitter links.
Okay.
When I'm remote, we use Comrex's encoder decoder to send audio from wherever I am back to the station. All of our other programming, like we run Duke basketball, that's received via satellite.
What kind of access is in the studio as far as internet?
Well, none of the equipment's in the studio.
No, I mean when people are in the studio and they want to get on the internet, how do they get to the internet through? Do you have fiber in the building?
Yeah, we have two providers. We have a fiber provider, and then
Okay.
we have Spectrum as a
Okay.
rollover
And
backup.
as far as you know, your colleagues, whatever other stations that you know, they all use today. They all use fiber, or some of them that you know still use T1 or the older.
Nobody in this area is using T1 to transmit audio to a
Wow.
to get audio to a transmitter. Everything is over the internet.
Yeah.
There's one religious station whose audio is transmitted at the transmitter site. They have a barracks, which is an encoder audio decoder, literally connected to a Verizon hotspot.
Yeah.
One of the Verizon hotspots it gives you an Ethernet jack out of it. Those are like the more professional ones. That's what their setup is for receiving audio. There are very, very few stations in the country that are still using direct copper for transmitting audio.
Okay.
The ones that are still using it, though, the problem you've got is the ones that are still using it. There's a very, very good reason why they're using it still, because it's not cost effective to do.
No, it's not. But give us what do you mean by good reasons to?
Well,
to do
the good reason is there's not a realistic alternative, because there's no reason you would rent at the exorbitant cost of copper lines from AT&T.
So yeah, all right.
But there will have to be workarounds. There will have to be a solution. I mean, that's just the way it's going to go.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I didn't ask you. So what story sticks in your mind from last week? What anything?
Do you have the Visio story?
Yeah, but not in a big way. But that's
I think that's a very interesting story.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about it.
Well, do you have do you have the setup? Yeah.
Okay. That's toward the end. Come on.
Walmart to buy Visio?
Yes. Looking at potentially buying Visio.
$2 billion.
Yeah.
Massive merger. Makes sense. Walmart is somehow a brick and mortar store is trying to turn into a software as a service provider, or a subscription provider with
so it says
Walmart Plus or whatever.
According to the Wall Street Journal, Walmart is in talks to buy TV manufacturer Visio for more than $2 billion, shares of Visio jumped 36% after the report, while Walmart shares were down about 1%.
Yeah.
That's all I have here. I mean, I didn't read any deeper into it because it's they're thinking about doing it. So yeah,
Well,
when they do it, we'll talk about it. But
couple of reasons. If I'm Walmart, Vizio tele, I've got I have three televisions in my house. All three of them are Vizios, and one of them is from 2011.
yeah,
It's very old television, and it still works exactly for what it needs to do.
mm-hmm.
They would be able to likely cut the price of Vizio televisions dramatically, selling them at Walmart, because if they own the company, they'd be able to negotiate a far better deal for themselves, obviously, if they were the owners of the company. And the TV's already cheap. I've got one in specials coming up here in a little bit that's unbelievably cheap for what you're getting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think that that's exactly how that works. But what you did mention something interesting though, the software as a service. Like um you're thinking they're focusing on like a Roku competitor?
I should have been more clear. I should have said more subscription, like Walmart Plus. Their subscriptions app in which you can put things in your cart and scan them directly and just walk right out the door.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
They've got some. They're trying to sell people on this app, which I have seen people using. I don't. There was a period of time where I was doing a lot more shopping at Walmart, and it may have made sense. It's not anymore, but they're like every other company trying to get into the subscription business.
Yeah.
And if they were the owners of Vizio, which would give them access to Smart View, I think is Stream View, Smart View, whatever Vizio's
Yeah.
interface is called with all of their live channels. I could absolutely see Walmart getting into that and getting into the business of exclusive content and things like that. I don't know that they'd go for a direct. They already would have a direct Roku alternative with that, built into the televisions. But I could see Walmart making a play to, um, I don't ever use that. I've got three Vizio smart TVs. I don't
Right.
use their AI, their UI at all. I could see them trying to get me to use their UI and watch the ads and see some of that content that they're trying to
They
sell.
do have they do have a streaming service though, right? VUDU, Voodoo?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Smart View or
Yeah.
Stream View, VU, yeah, VU, whatever it's called.
VUDU, I think that's Walmart stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
I haven't seen. I mean, I don't know who the exact audience is right now because I know they're always shoving it, but it's always. I've never actually tested it. It's like not
Yeah.
any more than that.
I mean, I'd like to think that they know what they're doing, and they obviously figured that Visio is going to be
I mean,
an
they
addition,
are
a healthy addition.
they are very stable, right? As a company, I don't think they've done any major. You know what? I'm talking out of my ass. I have
You're talking
zero
about
idea.
layoffs and stuff.
Mo- uh, I mean, in general, right? Like the way Walmart operates. I know it's been very predictable. I know from people who were on the supplying end of supplying them with product uh, that Walmart was always super strict about who they work with and how they work. Um, uh, and I haven't heard anything that any of their behavior ever changed, right? Uh, while we talk about Amazon as a technology and company and a huge retailer, I mean, Walmart has been there before, during, and still, right?
Yeah.
they might not be the leaders anymore because they led with the huge brick and mortar stores, right? But they definitely have a very established online footprint. Um, I don't know if they're the number two go to after Amazon in the States, right? But they're definitely there, right? It's I would say they definitely give a fight on others. Yeah, even the specialized one like Best Buy and Staples, right? Walmart is still probably giving a good fight compared to them, and of course Target. So yeah, it's always interesting what they're doing, but I don't think it's ever groundbreaking, right? It's they always make sure they have a slice of the pie, uh, and that's the way they keep up. So in a way, they always make the conservative step forward, but it's a solid step. So it'll be
It's
interesting.
it's it's interesting. I mean, last week I had an interesting situation with trying to buy. I wanted to buy some waterproofing spray, like for canvas. So you go to Amazon and you look. "Hmm, that a good one is from Kiwi, and but it was like $16 and $15 and 2 days. So I went to Walmart, and Walmart showed it, and it was $7 and something. And I had to go to
Because
carry.
it's in stock in the store.
Well, it said that it was.
Hmm.
Actually, no, it did not say that it was in stock. It said that you can pick it up at the store. I did not
Hmm.
read deep into it. So I went to the store
Okay.
and I'm looking where it is. I can't even find where it is. I asked somebody and they took me there and there was nothing on the shelf. He said, "No, we don't have it." So I said, I read on the website that you do have it." He said, "On the website, it tells you that you can order it and then it will be here tomorrow
Tomorrow.
or 2 days or whatever." All right, thank you. So I came back home and I went on Google and I searched again to see local stores that would have it. And they were all like about $11 and $12 and on. Target had it for also $7. But no, we don't have it in the store. But if you order it here online, it'll be at the store in 2 hours.
Oh, interesting.
So I said,
That's strange.
yeah. So I ordered it. I mean, that was okay with me to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
Target is kind of next door. I got the notice that it was there. I went to the store, and it tells you to go to the store to the uh, counter there and
Yeah.
just show them this and that. And
Oh, yeah.
so there was somebody in front of me looking, waiting to pick up something, and the guy said, "Okay, just a minute." He put it on his tablet, and he went to the other side of the store. Kind of, you saw him walking in somewhere, and he came back with a bag, and it was in it. But it took him about, I would say, 3, 4 minutes. It's not like the bag was already there and he just picked it up and came.
No, the bag was already there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Uh,
We
All
did
right,
pickups from
now,
Target. We,
yeah, but
I can
but
explain how that works.
the reason I'm saying it is because of what happened afterwards. So when I gave it to him, he said, "Okay, I'll be right back." And he went and took him about 2, 3 minutes, and he came back. So I said, "So did you just pick it up from somewhere on the shelf?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "So that whole thing about order it online, it'll be here in 2 hours is just a marketing scheme. It's not real. It's a hoax." He said, "Yeah, but it got you into the store." So I don't know. That's what he said. I mean, there's no way that they could have gotten it from somewhere else into the store in.
So,
Yeah, the
so
2 hour
I can tell
pickup
you,
is just them picking.
Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
thought. And that's what I asked him
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it
So
is. They just
so
pick.
if it's available in 2 hours, right?
Eh,
If
eh,
it's available
yeah,
in 2 hours, right?
it was
Then
before
it
2
usually
hours.
means
Yeah.
it is in the it is in stock.
But it's not
But
yet
you
on
make
the.
the order and you're waiting for a confirmation. Sometimes that confirmation doesn't come up that same day.
Well, the
And that
confirmation
means it
came
was out
after.
of stock. It's not in the
Yeah, it came after about 45 minutes.
yeah. So that means I was in the store.
Yeah, so that's why I asked him. I said, "So
Yeah.
that you just went and picked it up?" He said, "Yeah." And I said,
Yeah,
"So
but
all
I'm not sure that he completely understood your question.
no,
So
because I said, so it's all just a marketing thing. It's in the store and you go pick it up instead of me. You mean I could have come in the store and pick it up from the shelf?" He said, "Yeah."
yeah, that's
So
true. That's true. But when he went to pick up the
the
bag,
yeah,
he didn't go to the shelf. It was already in packaged because the barcode had a specific. This is so
I don't
yes.
know. Maybe he didn't
No.
understand, but he
So what's going on is like this. The target next to you, right, is has been there for a while.
yeah,
It means it hasn't been renovated in the past
no,
5 years.
no.
So what happens in these cases, because the service counters where you do the returns, that's where you pick it up also. There's
Actually, no.
no
It's not where you do the returns. They have a counter just for order pickup. It's not where
okay.
they return. That's what he went somewhere
They
where
did
they
renovate.
return. Yeah, it's
Okay, so they did renovate, and they
maybe
should have this
uh,
should be
yeah.
connected to like it's not a huge, but a small storage area where all of these pickup bags are ready.
That's what I thought he would go. That's right behind him. There was a room with a bunch of stuff. He did not go there. He walked behind to the other side of the registers. And I was trying to see because I said, "What in the world? What does he go over there? He's got." But it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. The point is that here you could have gotten something from Walmart for the same price of
Oh
Amazon
yeah. Yeah,
and
Walmart does it as well.
faster, huh?
Walmart does it, Target does it, I think Best Buy does it. All of the brick and mortar
Interesting.
big
Yeah. So
stores, they do it.
it's fine. Yeah.
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 I know I can tell you my son back in Roanoke, he doesn't like going to the store too much, right? So he sits down with the Walmart application,
Mm-hmm.
makes his shopping list, usually copies the shopping list from, what he did last week and just edits it. And somebody else does the shopping for him. He comes, drives by with the car, clicks a button, says I'm out, right? And somebody brings him the bags, and that's it.
Yeah.
He prefers that. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I like walking through, but I also understand, right? What's the appeal of not walking through? So yeah,
Yeah.
some like it that way.
Yep.
This way they do both.
All right.
I always find it what I find really interesting though is what you get on the shelves, right? I understand how it was before, and I understand why, let's say, shipping was a huge cost, and so Amazon pricing could not really compete with brick and mortar. I still find it strange today, right? Where a lot has moved into shipping, and still the brick and mortar is somehow the cheapest, right? They need to maintain the buildings. They need to maintain
Mm-hmm. There's a
a
bunch of
whole lot of employees in every location,
right.
and there's many more locations than centralized locations and hubs that, let's say, Amazon run, right? And somehow, right, it's still cheaper with that infrastructure.
Yeah.
That is very
It's good. It's good that it's like that. It's good.
Well,
All right.
Amazon's infrastructure, while yes, they don't have the brick and mortar, they
right.
do have those central distribution centers.
Yeah.
their
Right.
customer service department, while not all in person, is much larger than Walmart's. It's just all people all over the country. Their shipping infrastructure is not anywhere near as big as Walmart's. So I would assume their shipping costs within the company, their shipping costs within the company are a lot more expensive than Walmart's is, because Walmart has those trucks and has those routes that they've been running for, some of them, 30 years, right? I mean, go back to the 90s when they really started building up their own shipping, their internal shipping
You're talking about
infrastructure.
Amazon has the
No,
trucks.
Walmart. Walmart's got a bigger. Walmart has to ships things between. I mean, how many
Oh, I
Walmarts are in
see
the,
what you mean.
how many Walmarts in the RDU
Okay.
area?
Yeah. Yes.
7, 10. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you have to have infrastructure to get stuff back and
Yeah,
forth
yeah,
between those stores.
yeah.
They've got
Right,
that already built in.
but a larger infrastructure will also mean more costs, right?
Well, it depends. It's one of those size of economy things. Depending on, they own it. I mean, that, and the one thing that Walmart doesn't deal with as much with, that yes, they do ship things to your house, but Amazon is shipping mostly through the postal service. In major metro areas, they're doing it with their own drivers now. But they've got the cost of the postal service for everything else. So it's a lot of pro and con, but it is amazing that they can be as competitive as they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We win at the end, which is good. All right.
Yeah.
Listen to this now. Nick, you don't have specials, right?
I will in a couple. Yeah, I'll
Right.
let you know when they're ready.
A serial burglar in Edina, Minnesota, is suspected of using a Wi-Fi jammer to knock out connected security cameras before stealing and making off with the victim's prized possession.
Wow.
Edina police suspect that 9 burglaries in the last 6 months have been undertaken with Wi-Fi jammers deployed to ensure incriminating video evidence wasn't available to investigators. And this is the same bad, it's not the same bad situation, but it's the same kind of situation that you have with Wi-Fi. Somebody can come with a Wi-Fi jammer, and all they have to do is just put it somewhere and turn it on. Your Wi-Fi, you cannot go to the internet. It jams you. Now, if they break in and let's say you have VoIP for yours, this is why a lot of places voice over IP is not uh, recommended for security systems. And a lot of the security system like CPI and ADT and all will not even put the system in your house if you don't have some kind of they still call it landline, but it's not. I mean, when you have let's say AT&T and you have your phone with AT&T and the phone connects directly to their box
Modem. Yeah.
to the modem, that is not voice over. It is voice over IP, but it is not
It's not wireless voice.
Yeah. And if somebody knocks off your wireless stuff, this still works. So here's a guy that does the same thing with cameras, and you can sure do it. A lot of people use wireless cameras system because it's cheaper than to have somebody run wires all around the house and all that. But it's also very easy to block them.
I don't know that I would say
So-
very easy to block. It is blockable. I don't know that
no,
very
it's
easy.
very
would
it's
be the
very
word.
easy. All you have to do is a jammer.
Well, yeah, but
It's
you
a-
have to get a very high powered jammer to
They
do this.
they sell them. That's the bad thing.
Well, that
you-
is true.
Yeah, you can buy it, and I mean, you don't have to know anything about it. All you have to do is make sure that it's connected to his power and turn it on. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, you're right. Most of these are very easy to hack. Mostly those that are selling subscriptions on some server, and so all they need to do is just block the transmission, and then nothing is being saved, right? Alternatively, you have very cheap cameras that are wireless,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
go ahead.
But still record locally to an SD card.
Right.
So you always have a record, even if it was jammed during the break-in.
That's
So
correct.
nobody at the time of the break-in can see anything, but afterwards you'll have records, right?
Yeah.
Well, hold on a
So,
second.
yeah.
No, I did no, that's not what the issue here is that those cameras are transmitting back to the internal base station. That's what's being blocked.
Correct.
It's not just
Right. So
blocking
I'm
the hub.
talking. There are two types. There are those,
Yeah.
right, and there are those that have local storage.
Yeah,
So
Nick, like
if
the
you
ones.
are adamant on using some wireless system, right, at least make sure there is local storage on the cameras themselves.
But that's not what I'm saying. Let me say it again. So, like my Blink cameras,
Yeah.
I can view those via Wi-Fi. That's how I view them. But they also the Blink cameras communicate to the hub via 2.4 gigahertz.
Oh,
Nick,
I
do you
understand that.
remember?
So
Yeah.
that's what's being blocked. So it's never notifying the hub that there's any activity to record. That's what they're doing. Because
Nick-
yes, under your point,
Nick,
it would
think-
be a temporary jam until the Wi-Fi comes back up, and then you can see all of your recordings. They're blocking it so that those cameras are not even transmitting to the hub.
they're
That's
not
the-
recording.
They're not
Right.
recording because there is the
That's
camera's offline for all intents and purposes.
But that's what
the batteries are out.
Nick. This is what Gal is saying. That
I know what
there's-
Gal's
I'm
saying.
talking.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward. I'm saying, yeah. So if that's the case, right, understand the limitation, and if you are still looking at some wireless camera, look at wireless camera that at the camera or inside the camera
I
there's
see
a
what you're
place to
saying.
put an SD card, right? Because then at least you can instruct it to always record
Yes.
on the SD card. And so that's that. I mean, no, not everybody needs a setup with wires and all that, right? Because that's an effort. That's
Yeah.
an expense. Yeah, I finally wired mine. They were sitting in a box for 2 years just because I was dragging my feet, right? So I finally wired mine, and like I'm literally crimping the RJ45s today to connect it. So it takes an effort. But once you have that, yes, you are safer from jamming, but also in a limited way, right? If somebody figures out where the camera is at, snipping the cable or breaking the camera, and just is always a possibility, right? Uh, yeah, I mean, what I find strange is people mostly about all of the Wi-Fi, the cheap Wi-Fi stuff is the relying of an external system. By external, I mean external to the home, right? To track what's going on in the home.
Yeah.
And that always blows my mind, right? This has nothing to do with progress. This has nothing to do with technology. This has to do with negligent and just being lazy and giving somebody out of your home control
It's ill-informed.
over what's going
it's
on.
Not. It's not
Yeah.
lazy. It's because they think that this is the way everybody's doing it. They are not informed enough to know about the
Yeah.
options that they have. Now, yours that you put in.
And for a while, to that point, and for a while, right, these systems were only accessible to those who were certified to install security systems, right?
Yeah.
And so getting the specs on these it was security by obscurity,
Yeah.
basically, right? Instead of actually being secure. Today we're in a different state. So in a way, Nick, buying a cheap Wise camera that has local SD card storage on it, right? And managing your own system without even hooking up to the Wise system to track everything is probably more security conscious than buying from CPI or something, or I don't remember their
ADT.
acronyms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because at least you're not giving somebody else access to what's important to you. You are managing it.
Yeah.
So
The one of the things I have a Eufy. Is that how it's pronounced? EUFI,
Eufy,
EUFY,
yeah,
Eufy. I've got their doorbell, which has
yeah,
a camera on it. And the one thing I really like about the Eufy in comparison to the Blink, which is what I have for outdoor cameras, is that the inside doorbell, which is the thing that plugs
yeah,
in, has an SD card in it, and it keeps all that stuff locally. Now, when I access it away from home, of course, it is connecting to the Wi-Fi,
Mhm.
but it is pulling that data from the device versus the
Right.
Blink, which is storing all of that data in the cloud. There
yeah,
is no the
exactly.
Blink hub is the size of a matchbox. I mean, there is no storage in it. It's simply just a
An
hub connecting
interface.
the
Yeah.
device to the internet.
Yeah, I have their doorbell as well, Eufy, and yeah, that design is excellent because the logic for the movement detection is on that device. I
Yes.
mean, for better and worse, right?
Everything is on.
And the storage is local. So even if I don't get the notification that somebody pressed the doorbell, I can later review and see who that is because it's always on that doorbell. It's always on that physical hardware. And yeah, that's an important part.
So the one that you have right now, does it have a DVR? All the cameras that you just
Yeah,
rewired and
yeah. Mine has a DVR
okay.
that I'll
Yeah.
connect to it over the network
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
up to Home Assistant and all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
pick
I
it up,
I
then I'll
I
start using.
I never enabled really, I mean, in reality, in practicality, the movement is in for my need is worthless because you have like I have I think 14 cameras outside, but there are
Yeah.
cars going by and there
Ah,
this and that, so
but
it's
hold on. We're in 2024,
yeah.
and it is so easy, right, to have that movement being analyzed by AI and categorize what exactly is on
Okay,
it,
I don't
and
have that. Yeah.
you can tell it. Yeah, no, you don't need to have that. You connect any system, right, to something that analyzes it. So your cameras, whether they are going into a DVR or not, right, you can still hook up that PC that does
Yeah.
Plex for you, for example,
Mhm.
right? It can easily, right, also analyze incoming camera footage and categorize what's being there. It will tell you whether a human is there or an animal or a car. Uh, it might, depending on the resolution, it might be able to say it's a vehicle and this is its tag number, right? Stuff like that. So, and if you know the tag number, you can also associate it with a person, with a name, and you can train it to different behaviors. So
Yeah,
that's the interesting
I
thing
guess
to that,
that's
right?
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
But the
very
bottom
interesting.
line, I mean, I was getting it never stopped sending me notices. I mean,
Yeah,
it
of
was a
course.
barrage all day long.
Yeah,
I said, "No, no, no.
Well,
yeah.
I don't need that."
there's one
Limited
important
movement one is
there's an important distinction here. The movement is really, I don't say only, but you need to have movement for the wireless cameras because they're battery
Yes.
operated.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
so so
absolutely.
that's where you that's why that's so important. With hardwired cameras, you're right. I mean, you just record everything to a hard drive,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm
You're
talking about notices. I mean, people like to get like a notice.
sure.
Oh, somebody's on my driveway.
Well,
Well,
you would set certain cameras to just do
to
those
do it
notifications.
and
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, very
And it's
easily could be
nice. I
done.
mean, if I wanted to get deep into it, you can set only certain area what the camera is
Correct.
looking at and all that. Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
not a complicated. I mean,
It's not
what you're describing
complicated. Yeah,
But what you're describing about setting those areas, that is the only way to operate the blinks and the UFIs and things like that, is setting those areas. Because if not, you'll be pinged 24/7,
Yeah.
and your battery will be dead in 5 days.
Yeah.
So they've come a long way on that.
Yeah. So anyway, if you have wireless cameras that depend on the internet, on your Wi-Fi, to connect to a hub or outside or anywhere to send information, this is a problem. And if they do it in one area, people will start doing it in all areas. I mean, the bad guys will do that in other areas too. And
I will argue that you're going to need a pretty high power transmitter to accomplish this. I don't think your
I have,
little
I don't
AliExpress $30 Wi-Fi jammer is going to do that. I could be.
I don't know.
I'm
I have
I'm
no idea.
speaking, to quote Gall earlier. I am going to speak completely out of my ass. I don't think that a little USB stick size jammer is going to be power. You were going to need probably a some sort of directional antenna that you're
Nick,
using. There's no way.
Nick, there are
Yes.
those cheap jammers that years ago certain stores used to install in their store because they did not want people to be able to compare prices.
Sure.
And it was something I knew somebody in North Carolina that did that, and it cost him $150, and they put it in the office, and it was a big store, and
And let me
anywhere,
guess, he only has daughters, right?
huh?
He only has daughters.
I don't know.
That was the joke from radiation in the Navy.
But-
Why all captains have mostly daughters
Mostly daughters
because they're
because
really
of
close
that.
to
Yeah.
the antennas.
No, but really, when you're in the store, I mean, I used to go and do some work. All you can do is just call 911. You had no access to internet. You had no access to your cell. Nothing.
That's a cell phone jammer, though. That is different from a Wi-Fi jammer.
No, it was the same. I mean, kind of the same thing. I mean, you
No,
couldn't get
completely different. Well, I mean, same style of device, but very different frequency. That's what I'm saying. There is a big difference between cell phone frequencies and 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi.
So it was doing both. Yeah, it was doing.
Well, how
both,
is it
but
blocking
Come
Wi-Fi?
on, Nick.
I
All
don't
you
know.
need is an access point that is only on transmit on all channels, right? That's basically what you
And
need.
with higher power. It's
Well,
like
and high power, yeah.
It actually doesn't need to be
higher.
very high. It just needs to mess up the signal. That's enough, right?
Nick,
It
you know,
doesn't need.
Nick, here.
I don't know. I know enough about RF. I'm just
Yeah,
thinking that-
here, RF.
Yeah, but
Nick,
it's digital, right?
Nick.
This is digital. So the moment you do not have a single bit drops every time, right? That is enough to mess up everything.
Okay.
Nick,
That's the
you're
thing.
into ham.
Yes.
You're a ham, and you have
I'm a big ham fan.
Wait, and you have a handheld. How many watts? 2,
10 or 15.
10 or 15. If I
Yeah.
came to your house with a jammer that is 20 or 25 watts on the same channel, I block you. You cannot get out. That's it. You're gone.
But that's not true. But that's the difference between analog and digital.
Well,
which Gall
I
was just making
understand.
the
I
point.
understand, but that's how it
But-
is.
But if Amnon would be with a 5 watt, right, a very low frequency one, you might not be blocked out, but everything coming in would be blurry, right?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
It
That's the thing. That's all you need to jam, right? Because it's a two-way communication.
true. That's a good
If
point.
something fails, right? It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be complex. That's the
There's
thing.
only one way to do this. We got to try this.
Now it's illegal to do that.
So, Gall,
I
I'll
understand.
buy the ski. I'll buy the ski masks. You can get the. You have probably access to the access points, and we'll try and ransack Amnon's house
Yeah.
and see if he can find us.
I want everybody to understand this is illegal, even though you can
Oh,
buy
really?
it. It is illegal. A lot of people don't. I mean, this guy didn't know. I didn't know at that time.
Wait, this guy didn't know that it was illegal to steal something from somebody's house?
No. I'm talking about the
No,
guy
he's talking
here
about the
at the
store
store.
jamming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're willing to jam Wi-Fi to commit a petty larceny,
Oh no,
then yeah, I
that's
mean that's the
definitely
least of your
yeah.
that's the least of your issues.
But he thought that he was uh protecting his
wait,
business, so
but
to speak.
Amnon, did he use a licensed gun?
Yeah, if it was stolen, that's it. That's what they got him for. Anyway, enough of that.
Specials?
Let Nick will let us know.
I do have specials. I am
That's all right.
uploading them. I'm
And
uploading
here's
them
something
as
about
we speak.
gaming.
Oh, okay,
Amid
yeah.
amid increasing speculations about the future of Xbox, its exclusives, and even its status as a hardware manufacturer, Phil Spencer reportedly told employees last week that it has no plans to stop making consoles. So they are continuing to make the consoles. They're
So
not
6
planning.
months?
I don't know. They didn't say for how
In
many.
6 months, they're gonna fire everyone?
I don't know.
That's usually how this goes. The moment a CEO talks to the employees and says there are no plans that means plans are in motion, right?
But not
Run
yet.
for your life.
Yeah, it may
Come
be.
on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have one. I never played with one, and
Like, no, it doesn't. I'm just talking about like if a CEO, right, a head, like somebody important, comes and needs to state out to the employee, there is no plan, right? When there's no fire,
when there's
like,
no,
why are you talking about the smoke if there's no fire,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like, what's going on here?
yeah.
I hope I'm wrong, right? Because I know it's a big deal for a lot. I do not have any opinion whether it's better than anything else or
No,
worse than anything else, or right. But I know it's a huge industry. I doubt they want to step out of gaming, but
I don't know. That was the article, and it was
yeah.
interesting. All right,
Let's do it.
Nicholas.
Here's a live look at California as some guy goes forward and tries to take all of AT&T's copper. So yeah, that's a live look in the mountains of California this morning.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's a real.
Sheesh.
Hopefully that was intentional. All right, got kind of an eclectic mix of things this week. Here's an Acer Chromebook, which I watched a video a couple weeks ago about Chromebook. Linus Tech Tips did a really good video about Chromebooks are not what they were. My experience with a Chromebook is over a decade old, and at the time, it was literally just a web browser. I mean that was the extent of the machine. These things have come a really long way, and that's why you're not seeing. I think my first Chromebook was like $120 or something. They were very cheap. They didn't really do a whole hell of a lot. These are really powerful. I'm not talking in terms
They're
of spec. I
robust.
mean,
Yeah.
they're very robust. That's a good term to use for it. So we've seen the prices of Chromebooks creep up, and I think there's good reason for it. They're putting better hardware in them, and they really can accomplish 99% of tasks that you would need to do on a computer. So this is an Acer Chromebook. This is called their Spin 314, and it's a full convertible. So you're seeing in this case, it will completely flip back on itself, and you can use it in tablet mode. It's got a 14-inch display. It is Gorilla Glass, which is nice, so it's pretty rugged. It won't scratch and get all scuffed up. 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gig eMMC, and it does have Wi-Fi 6. So this is available. It's normally $399. You get it $100 off. It's 25% off over at Amazon, so you can check that out. By the way, this is Amazon Choice's 2-in-1 laptop. So there's a lot of folks checking this device out.
So you said 14-inch, right?
Yep.
$300. This Chromebooks can run Amazon, Android
Linux
applications,
apps.
right?
They absolutely can. Yes.
This might be the best comic reader tool I can think of.
Comic reader, tablet, and you can even run
14
Linux
inch
stuff on it.
is a huge screen. If it's not too heavy, then this is awesome.
Let's see. It weighs technical details. Wait, well, 3 pounds, so it's not light. I don't
Right.
know if that's the full box weight or the laptop. I'm sure the laptop itself doesn't weigh 3 pounds. That seems like
I'll
a lot.
check it out.
Um,
I'm reading
that's
today on an 8-inch
okay.
Fire tablet, and those are really slow. So this can
So
be a nice thing. Yeah.
yeah, definitely a lot of use cases for it at $299. And again, they've done a lot with the Chrome OS where you really can run not only Android applications, but you can run Linux applications on them now.
The only
It's built
problem
right
with
in.
the Chrome OS that I read a few times over the past few years is that they don't develop anymore, and you can have a device that's no longer working for you because the OS expired, kind of.
They're still actively developing Chrome OS.
No, no.
No,
What
no, no. I'm saying
that
after
this machine will not get updates. Yeah.
yeah,
The lifetime of the device itself. Yeah, I know. I remember we talked about it.
yeah.
Good news on this is it's been on Amazon less than a year, so this is a new device. So
Mhm.
the idea that this is going to disappear, you will get a long lifespan out of this. This is not an old refurb device. So that's available over at Amazon, $299. Over at Walmart, look at this, a Visio, 65-inch Visio 4K Ultra HD television for $350. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know I mean, so unbelievably cheap. One of the cool features of this TV, and I don't know if all of the smart TVs do this, but they really marketed this, is that you can pair Bluetooth headphones directly to the TV, which I thought was an interesting idea. I know the Roku's got some of the Roku's have headphone jacks built into them, where you can plug in and listen to the audio. But the idea that you could pair a very cheap Bluetooth headset or something like this to these televisions is a pretty interesting idea. So you're saving $180. This is normally $530. So you can get it for $348 over at Walmart. This is a bestseller and a popular pick. 1,000 of these were bought just yesterday, according to Walmart's website. So
Yeah.
very cheap, good, large, inexpensive TV. And it does have voice. It's got voice control and things like that. So a pretty nice device for 300 and sub $350. Let's see. Next up, we were talking about them earlier. Eufy, EUFY. This is their indoor security cam E220. The cool thing about this is it's a pan and tilt. A lot of people use these they call these pet cameras. This is not one that is marketed as that, but a lot of folks do use these as pet cameras, so you can make sure your dog or cat or whatever's going on is all right. You can mount it all over the place. It does integrate with Google and A-Word, so you can connect it via that. It is 2K is the resolution of the camera, so it's a higher quality than traditional 1080p. And it does also have local recording, so you can put an SD card directly in this device and have it record all of that stuff locally. And you can find that for $35.99 over at Amazon. I've had this product in here once before, and the first time I brought it up, I had no idea that this thing was even made. And I don't think many people do. This is called the Microsoft Audio Dock. This is a very interesting device. So it's a speaker, but it's also a microphone, like a nice omnidirectional microphone, but it's also a USB-C hub. So the way that you would set this up is you power the audio dock by plugging it in. It's got a barrel connection. You plug it in, and then you connect it via USB-C to your laptop, to your laptop. And with that, you get 2 additional USB-C ports, an HDMI port, so you can use it as it will create an extended display for you, and then a traditional USB Type A. So you're getting an additional HDMI display, a couple of USB-C ports, and a USB Type A, plus a nice speaker and microphone that you could use for Teams meetings or Zoom calls or anything like that. This is normally a $250 device, and it's on sale over at eBay for $43 from Ant Online, which is a reputable audio retailer. So if you do a lot of these meetings on a laptop and your audio and video, your audio quality is not necessarily the greatest, and you don't already have a USB-C hub, this could be a good way to kill a couple of birds with one stone. So check this device out over at eBay. Let's see. Next up, I am probably going to go pick this up later this afternoon. I've been waiting a long time to upgrade my thermostat, but the smart thermostats are incredibly expensive. Ecobee is the I'll call it Gal the nerd's pick of thermostats. These support Zigbee and Z-Wave and Wi-Fi. And the one cool thing with this specific unit is it comes with 2 smart sensors, and what you can do with these is place them in various portions of your home and have it kind of average the temperature. One of the big issues with thermostats is they're in a hallway or in an area where the temperature might not be representative of the whole home. So with these 2 smart sensors, you can set up averaging, and you can weigh them. When I say weigh them, talking about weighing the temperature offset in various rooms to make sure that the home is actually the rooms that you want to be the certain temperature actually are. So this is available for $190, available over at Costco. And it works with all of the smart applications and everything like that. So you can check this out, available over at Costco. The price is valid until today. So if you're going to do this, um, you have to go do it now. So that's available over at Costco. Let's see.
Sounded for
Next,
sounded for a second there like a used car salesman who's trying to sell the car. Today, that price is good for today.
well, I'm sorry, I didn't read
Yeah, yeah,
the
I know.
valid price before. Yes, if you walk off the lot, it's gone. I'm
Yeah,
selling it.
yeah.
So if you're
All right.
interested in this, you can pick it up today. Next up, Echo Studio with Dolby Atmos. This is a big honkin' speaker. If you're somebody that uses a word to listen to a lot of audio, this might be a device to look at if you're looking for really clear audio out of your device, better than just the little tin can speakers that are in most of these units. 155 bucks from Amazon. You're saving $45. It's available in either charcoal or glacier, which is kind of an off-white, so you can check that out. Next up, Apple AirTags. These are super popular now. They work in a really neat way. I know we've talked about it before, but any iPhone that is in the vicinity of an AirTag, the AirTag connects to the iPhone without your knowledge, and transmits its location to the Apple Find My iPhone service and server. So you can keep track of your luggage or a package or something like that without obviously having to be in the vicinity of it. There's plenty of Bluetooth tags and trackers, but those only work if your device is within the vicinity. Apple has got obviously tens, hundreds of millions of iPhones across the country. And with that, these devices essentially can be tracked from coast to coast and even internationally. So they're normally $25 an AirTag, and they're running a sale over at Walmart. You get, Target, Target that is, 4 of them for $80. So you're saving a couple bucks per AirTag. And Amnon, it is ready within 2 hours for pickup at the Target here in Wilmington. So
Yeah.
be advised of that. 2 more quick items before we get out of here. This is an older generation tablet. God, this might be a decent reader as well. This is the Fire HD 10. It is the 2019 version, so it is not new. It's a couple of years old, 9th generation, but it's $40. So if you're simply just using a tablet for, as Gal noted, reading comics, I have an Amazon Fire tablet that I use exclusively to play darts with. And I do some e-reading on it, very, very light use cases. This is a perfect device for this. It's normally $65. It's on sale for $39.99, available over at Woot. So you can check that out through the link in specials. And then finally, another Costco deal. This one is only available in store, so your mileage may vary on this. This is the Meta Facebook Quest 2 all-in-one VR headset. It's the 256 gigabyte model that comes with a carrying case, and you can find that for $250. That whole kit is normally 319 bucks. So you might have to stop into a Costco to find that. And I don't know how long this deal is good for. So if you're going to go over there and pick up the Ecobee thermostat, maybe check this out as well. It's available over at Costco.
All right. Thank you very much, Nick.
God, what thermostat do you have? Do you have an Ecobee?
Nope. I have $40 the thermostat. I think they don't produce it anymore. Works like a charm. Uh, it's not as nice looking as the Ecobee. The Ecobee actually has a nice face to it. But the Ecobee, I couldn't find anything. It doesn't seem that it's Zigbee or Z-Wave. So
It is.
I
It
can't find
undoubtedly
anything in the
is.
specs.
Um,
If it is, it's interesting because then you're not bound to their ecosystem. But
Let me verify, but I'm almost
uh,
positive
So
that
this
it is.
in reality, it gives you what a lot of big homes have as zones.
Essentially, yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, sensor zones. So even if the system still heats and cools the entire house,
Mhm.
you at least tell it you're interested in this zone now,
Right.
or you're
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
very nice. Yeah. Um. Oh, so you're still looking to see if it's Z-Wave?
I
Are
think
we?
they're
Yeah,
all
I'm not
Are we?
Wi-Fi.
I'm not seeing the Z-Wave stuff, but I could have sworn in
I think they
the
have a version that
this is
is.
the premium version, which I thought was the one. The base version I know didn't, but I thought the premium plus version had um Z-Wave. And if it doesn't have Z-Wave, well then
Even if you
uh,
don't want to get out to
well, I
manage
already
it
have a Wi-Fi
remotely.
thermostat, so there's no benefit
No, I
really
mean,
for me.
even if even if you wanted, what I'm trying to say, I would want this just because it allows you to do the quote unquote zones.
Yes.
$200 is cheap for accomplishing this, and it's still a thermostat.
Yeah, no.
So you don't manage it remotely
Yeah,
with,
no. You're
yeah,
right. You're right.
yeah.
It's not like, first of all, it's an excellent thermostat, right? Just on the point of Z-Wave or Zigbee, I think it is not. It might. I mean, I'm sure Home Assistant either has an add-on or native interface with it, but that means it goes out of the home.
Ecobee, I'm reading conflicting things. Ecobee integrates with at least 3 platforms. Z-Wave. Oh, here's the other thing though, Gal, is it I'm looking on their website and it says it supports smart things. Wouldn't that have to be Z-Wave?
No, it can be
No? Okay.
Wi-Fi. Smart
Okay.
things can. Yeah, it just means that there's the API is already set up. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
be.
Hmm.
Hmm.
HomeKit as well. Uh, it can be Wi-Fi. It can be range.
All right.
Yeah, let me see. I'll see what I can find.
Here is something.
The Home Assistant, I can tell you here one thing. The Home Assistant interface to Ecobee is based on an API key, and that means it's IP based.
It's Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Um, this is more than 1,000 Ubiquiti routers in homes and small businesses were infected with malware used by Russian backed agents to coordinate them into a botnet for crime and spy operations, according to the Justice Department. That malware, which worked as a botnet for the Russian hacking group Fancy Bear, was removed in January 2024 under a secret court order as part of Operation Drying Amber, according to the FBI director. It affected routers running Ubiquiti's Edge OS, but only those that had not changed their default administrative passwords. Access to the routers allowed the hacking group to conceal and otherwise enable a variety of crimes, the DOJ claims, including spear phishing and credential harvesting in the US and abroad. Now they're talking about only 1,000, more than 1,000. So it's not that many when you think about it, but it's a lot of them. And it's only for those that did not change their administrative password.
Which isn't really easy to do, like to leave the default one on a
Okay, good,
system.
because that's what I wanted to
Because
talk
once you
about.
install it, like the first steps are setting up a proper password and all that. And so,
So
yeah.
apparently there is a way to do it, and maybe that's the
Yeah, so
somehow.
it might be old. They also mentioned on OS not upgraded, so they're talking about very old installation. It seems.
Okay. And really, I mean, this is what I wanted to talk about. I don't understand why any kind of router, any kind of device will, I mean, I would say leave it without a password from the store. And right when it comes up, it says set a password. The first thing is set a password.
There are more and more systems that act that way, or at least when they give some sort of uh, there every system will have its own default password, right, which is written on the box or
Yeah,
something like that.
right.
So we're seeing that more and more. Uh,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
I mean, there's still tons of systems that were just negligent.
that don't have that. Then that makes them vulnerable. Absolutely.
I am going to step out and say goodbye.
All right.
Uh,
Oh yeah, you have to go.
so yeah. Uh,
Tell
See you
her,
next week.
tell her to have a safe trip. And thanks, Gal. Bye.
Bye.
We talked about the fact
What?
we talked about the Vision Pro last week. You weren't here.
Okay. I
You-
was not. I was traveling.
So for some Apple Vision Pro buyers, the honeymoon is already over.
Wow, that's an expensive damn honeymoon. Jesus,
Yep.
$4,500 and the honeymoon's over. That sucks.
It's no coincidence that there's been an uptick on social media of Vision Pro owners saying they're returning the $3,500
Oh,
headsets
pardon
in
me.
the past
Yeah,
few days. What?
35. I said, excuse me, 3,500, not
35,
40.
yeah.
Yeah, let me make sure I'm
Apple
accurate.
allows you to return the product within 14 days of purchase. And for the first wave of Vision Pro buyers, we're right about at that point. Comfort is among the most cited reasons for returns. People have said the headset gives them headaches and triggers motion sickness.
That's
The,
always been the case. Yeah.
uh, the weight of the device and the fact that most of it is front loaded has been another complaint. Parker Ortolani, The Verge's product manager, told the article writer, that he thought using the device led to a burst blood vessel in his eye.
Possible. Eye strain. Yeah.
At least one other person noted they had a similar experience with redness. To
Mhm.
be fair, he says, VR headsets users have anecdotally reported dry eyes and redness for years.
Yeah.
We were talking. Katie was saying something that she cannot use her glasses with the headset with the VR. It
Yeah.
just doesn't work. It doesn't fit right. And there was an article here also that says that what's his name, Meta's Zuckerberg, says that the it says now that it can be strapped to our faces and worn on strange places, opinion about Apple's Vision Pro are flying left and right. Entering the chat is Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who is most at stake than perhaps anyone on earth if Apple does to headsets what the iPhone did to smartphones. In a video posted on Instagram account on Tuesday, Zuckerberg gives his official verdict of the Vision Pro versus his company's latest Quest 3 headset. I don't think that Quest is the better value. I think Quest is a better product. Period. Of course, he's biased, but
Well, we just had a Quest in the specials. It was
yeah,
$219,
yeah, but
$300, and
it was a Quest 2.
I understand.
Yeah,
But it was also $3,100 cheaper than
Yeah.
the Apple Vision.
yep. And there's
You
probably
know, I
a
saw
lot.
an interesting video of I
Of
wonder if I can pull it up. Let me um I saw this lady doing a video where she was cooking, and it was pretty interesting because they were able to do all of these cooking timers and things like that.
in the headset.
Yeah, and it was pretty interesting. I can't find
Yeah,
it right. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter.
that is
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, it was because the timers were over
So,
the devices. So when
yeah,
she looked over at the stove, she had two pots on the stove,
yeah,
and
she would know.
and you looked and over the two pots, you
Yep.
saw the yeah. Here's the video. Let me pull this up. This shouldn't be a problem. Give me a second here to get this reloaded, and we'll see what's going on here. So this was her cooking. A Wall Street Journal did this. Now they do, by the way, warn you that you should not cook with this thing, because you could very easily chop your finger or something.
Or
off.
drive.
Yeah, but so she's setting a timer for spaghetti, and she's pinning it on the.
Oh,
See how she's pinning it on the pans?
yeah.
Isn't that kind of interesting? I mean, it's not worth $4,000.
All right. Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of like that was the cool feature I saw that I was like, oh, that's pretty damn neat. Where you're pinning the timer over the literal device, so it's not in the screen the whole time. When she looks away, the timer's not there.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
Um, so but I watched this whole video. One of the things she noted, so in this, we're watching her point of view from the camera at this point, She said it was really hard to read things. Like, she could not read what any of these spices were.
Yeah,
because it was just too grainy.
right.
In the low light.
It always does. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, lighting is lighting. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah. But not again, not for $3,500.
No, and with the ability of setting a timer on your phone
Right.
or setting a timer on your A word or your home device,
Yep.
or simply just setting a timer on
But
one of the many appliances that you have in your kitchen that do a timer. Um, I don't know that it's necessarily the best use case. To me, I took away like, oh, that's pretty cool. To be able to create this world around you, and have those things set up. I would assume a lot of people returning the headset are doing that. They had no intentions of keeping these things from the start.
maybe
I assume a vast majority of people were fully intending on using this thing for
2 weeks and
7,
then
8,
yeah.
9 days and then returning it. Correct.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but that's kind of my gut impression for
Time
this.
will tell.
Yeah,
Time will tell.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Epic is one step closer to opening its iOS game store in the European Union.
Okay.
As part of its 2023 year in review, Epic Games announced Apple has reinstated its developer account, which means it will finally be able to let users download Fortnite on iPhones again. Epic first announced plans to bring its game store and Fortnite to iOS in January, but it wasn't clear whether Apple would grant it a developer account. Did you guys talk about it on Infection?
We did not. No.
Okay. Okay. That's kind of interesting the way that things are going. There was something else about that had to do with Apple and Epic, but it was I don't know if but we'll see if I have it.
And this is the big battle. It's
Yeah.
it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
the big battle for years now. Apple wants to control their ecosystem. If I was in Apple's position, I would want the same thing.
Yeah, but it depends how you do it. You don't do it. You don't do what they. It's ecosystem. No, they want to make money.
Well, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
No. I. I.
yeah,
I.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
Now, I
I mean,
think their fees are exorbitant. I think the way that they've kind of skirted around things is
right.
disingenuous at best.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're talking about a company. We're talking about Apple.
Yeah.
This is nothing new for Apple.
Yeah.
I mean, freaking
Yeah.
Lightning. I mean, look at them. The Lightning connector, the crazy ass 52 pin connector that they used to have for the iPods.
Yeah.
This is not shock and wow. Oh my God, Amnon, can you believe that Apple is doing some crazy shit? No, wow. That's crazy. I could never have imagined this
Yeah.
thing. So
All right. Here's something else. According to a new analysis by Mozilla, AI girlfriends harvest reams of private and intimate data. This is something that apparently, I mean, I when I was reading about it, I said, "What are they talking about?" And apparently, with AI now, there's a bunch of chatbot chats that you can interact with that are like girlfriends or
probably a whole hell of a lot cheaper
boyfriends and
too.
all that.
Yeah.
This information can then be shared with marketers, advertisers, and data brokers. It's also vulnerable to leaks. The research team investigated 11 popular romantic chatbots, included Replica, Hi, and Eva. Around 100 million people, 100 million people have downloaded these apps on Google Play alone. Using AI, the chatbots simulate interactive interactions with virtual girlfriends, soulmates, or friends.
Hmm.
To produce these conversations, the systems ingest oodles of personal data. Replica, for instance, records all the text, photos, and videos posted by users. According to Mozilla, the app definitely shared and possibly sold behavioral data to advertisers. I mean, it's
Uh,
nothing new. That's what they do.
well,
But
this is
that's amazing.
you said Replica is one of the apps?
Replica, yeah, Replica is one of those girlfriends.
So I'm looking. I just searched it up on the iOS. Your stat was from Google, but I'm looking at it on the iOS store.
Okay.
This is more than just a chatbot. It's actually a virtual person.
Well, all of them are supposedly, yeah. They're girlfriends and
Yeah, no, but you
boyfriends.
said chatbot. I was assuming it
No,
was
no,
just
no.
text, but in this case,
Oh,
it's
no, this is video and everything. That's an AI thing. The new
well,
AI
I knew that
craze.
was an AI thing.
I'm
I thought
sorry
it was
if
you
I
were just
said
describing a
chatbots.
chatbot, but oh,
Yeah,
let's see that it's a little dark. Like
it's
this is kind of
yeah,
that's kind of what it's showing.
yeah,
So it's like it's like it's creating a virtual person essentially.
yeah. It's and they are apparently harvesting a lot of information. And here you're interacting with, so to speak, a person. And there's a lot of things a lot of things being said, shared, and stuff because it's easy to do it with such a thing. But
Is the CIA behind this app or the FBI? I mean, if I'm the FBI or the CIA, I'm building one of these chatbots. You get a bunch of 18 to 25-year-old men using it, dumping out their hearts and all their personal information.
yeah,
This is a
that's
perfect app for them. They
yeah,
they'd lap this stuff right up.
yeah.
I'll tell you what though, Amnon, and I don't know how deep you want to get into this conversation, but it's
Nah,
a really it's a it's a sad state of affairs for society as a whole,
absolutely, it is.
specifically with young men, where they feel so disconnected with society that this is what they're
That's what they're running
unfortunately
to.
this is what they're
Yeah,
turning to for any sort of compassion um and partnership. That's a sad state of affairs.
yeah, it is. Absolutely is.
Yeah,
And again,
that's yeah.
yeah. Oh, you have to. It probably says you have to be 18. But again,
Well,
there's so many
sure.
ways for these.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yes, you know.
even if you're not 18, well, this says 17 plus on the
Yeah, but I mean,
iOS
how do you
download.
prove that?
You don't. You're right.
Yeah,
You don't.
yeah.
Um,
It is sad. Just bring your children. Well, that's all I can say.
well, that's one thing, but I mean, society as a whole is kind of society as a whole has been really hard on young men. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's I'll be honest, Sam. It's a tough world to live in.
yeah.
It's not what it was 20 or 30 years ago.
No, it's not.
And you said hundreds of millions of installs on Google Play, or
Uh,
hundreds of
they,
thousands.
no, they said 100 million or something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah, around 100 million people have downloaded these apps on Google Play alone.
Well, I can't get the downloads on iOS, but I do see it has 218,000 ratings. And I don't know what the percentage of people that rate apps are,
Half a
but
percent,
if you've got, what'd you say?
half a percent.
Something that, yeah, I mean, it's such a small number that
Yeah,
it's probably it's tens of millions on iOS as well. It may be 100 million on iOS. I'm not sure.
yeah,
Um, interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, the you know, 5-10 years from now, um, I will be curious to see for folks that have used these kinds of AIs, um, what kind of data profile is going to be built on them.
wow.
I mean, I already, I'm a somewhat, or I'm a relative. I'm probably below the average of a normal person. I've got a decent amount of social media, whatever. So I'm sure there's a decent profile built on me, but I can only imagine in the future what some of these profiles are going to look like on people. And there's already sites now where you can go and purchase, phone numbers and information and things like that. But man, you'll be able to purchase the freaking diary of somebody, all of their fears and
Yeah.
things like that. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. And if you really, I mean, think about it. If you're interacting with one of those AI soulmates,
That's a great word to use.
you're gonna say certain things that you probably wouldn't say in text, like a
Well, sure.
chatbot that
The
and
same way
it's
you would talk
easy.
to your wife or your
Yeah.
girlfriend privately.
And
Yeah,
if
of course.
and if that person, if that soulmate, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, is programmed also to ask you certain questions to get certain information, which apparently they do, that's a double whammy.
Well, let's be honest. These apps are free. And what does
Yeah.
that mean?
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah,
What does that mean?
right. It
The
means
data is for sale. It's
yep,
the same reason Gmail is free
yep,
because they can sell your information to
yep,
advertisers
yep.
and make a whole bunch of money.
Yes,
That is
yes,
there. Nothing is free. There is something for sale, and in this case, it's going to be your could be very intimate and private information about yourself.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that's pretty crazy.
Yep. Okay, now
I
oh, go
I've
ahead.
actually used AI yesterday,
Oh,
and it was pretty helpful. It was a very very trivial use case. I was moderating a lieutenant governor's candidate form in Brunswick County, and we had come up with a bunch of questions beforehand. But we were running through the program pretty quickly. The candidates, they had 2 minutes to respond, and most of them were doing it in about a minute and a half or so. So we were running through the program pretty quickly. So I opened up the Chat GPT app on my phone and I said, generate me some questions for a North Carolina Republican lieutenant governor's debate. And it spit out, I think, 10 questions. I said, generate more. It did 10 more for me. And I was able to pick out of the 20 questions. Most of them were things we had already talked about, but I was able to pick 4 or 5 questions out of that generation of the AI generation and use them. And it was it was great. It was absolutely phenomenal.
and they were legitimate questions. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, because it's you're asking them, but I mean, if the question comes up and say, so what do you think about what happened in Hanover County, and nothing happened? That's
well,
a
now,
So
well,
I don't know how you vet those questions, but there are questions. There probably is
well,
not uh, wrong information in there.
the way so I have the benefit of I follow I
Yeah,
talk about this stuff for a living, so I could kind of weed out the garbage.
right.
Um, but here were again, this was my prompt. Questions for North Carolina LT governor Republican form. That was my prompt.
Yeah,
Um, and it generated 20 questions in total. What specific policies do you plan to implement to improve education in North
right.
Carolina?
Okay, yeah, that's kind of
Um,
stuff.
what measures do you propose to improve infrastructure and transportation in this state? What is your stance on gun control and Second Amendment rights? How do you plan to address the opioid epidemic in North Carolina? Um, how do you plan to address the state's housing and affordability issues as well as homelessness in the state? So I was able to
Yeah,
generate some of and these are of course very broad questions. Like
hmm,
it's not super
right.
in depth, but it was a perfect opportunity where I was able to do something on the fly, and they were all I was able to weed through them and pick the useful stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
so
nice. Yeah, I mean
another good
it's
use case of AI.
yeah, but it's practical.
Yeah, it was very
That's
practical for
that's
me.
the
Yeah.
thing. You
I
know.
I could have sat there and thought about it for 10 or 15 minutes and come up with these questions, but
Yeah,
I was trying to moderate the debate. I didn't have time to sit and
yeah,
just think. So that it was absolutely perfect.
yeah. Nice,
Yep.
nice.
Good stuff.
All right, now here's something to warn users. A new iOS and Android Trojan named Gold Pickaxe,
Okay.
employs a social engineering scheme to trick victims into scanning their faces and ID documents, which are believed to be used to generate deep fakes for unauthorized banking access.
Mm.
The new malware, spotted by Group IB, is part of a malware suite developed by the Chinese threat group known as Gold Factory, which is responsible for other malware strains such as Gold Digger Plus, and Gold Kefu. Group IB says its analysts observed attacks primarily targeting the Asia Pacific region, mainly Thailand and Vietnam. However, the techniques employed could be effective globally, and there's a danger of them getting adopted by other malware strains. So, I mean, you gotta, it's easy to say, you gotta be stupid to go ahead and scan your face and your uh, documents, ID documents, just because somebody asks for it or an app is asked for it. But people do that. There are enough people out there that will do that. So please be careful. Tell people about it. Talk about it. You don't do stuff like that. That's not that's not something that you should legitimately be asked to do. Um Now, you go to movies? Eh,
Um,
eh. Okay.
Now, last
Yeah.
movie I saw was Oppenheimer. I will be seeing. They're remaking my favorite movie of all time, uh, Twister.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll be seeing that in the theaters whenever that comes out. So no, I'm not a
So
frequent
here's
moviegoer. I may go to a movie twice a year at most.
on Thursday, AMC notified subscribers of a proposed $8.3 million, $8.3 million settlements that provide awards to an estimated 6 million subscribers of its 6 streaming services: AMC Plus, Shudder, Acorn TV, All Black, Sundance Now, and High Dive. So $8.3 million to 6 million subscribers. How much is that per subscriber?
I don't know.
A dollar? A
Yeah,
dollar
it'll cost more
something?
more for the postage than it is the.
That's just amazing.
Yep.
That kind of, the settlements comes in response to allegations that AMC illegally shared subscribers' viewing history with tech companies like Google, Facebook, and X in violation of the Video Privacy Protection Act. So the joke here was 8.3 million for 6 million people. Now, now we're talking. You had a Chrome OS. Uh,
Whoa! Look at
no, it
that.
didn't. It went away. I was going to sneeze.
Yeah, I
Google
saw that. Yeah.
Google said it will allow businesses to install Chrome OS Flex on their Windows devices, potentially preventing millions of PCs from hitting landfills after Microsoft ends support for Windows 10 next year. This is coming from Reuters. So if you have a PC that cannot have Windows 11 and you don't want to stay with Windows 10 unsupported, you can use Chrome OS Flex on it. The Chrome operating system will ultimately allow users to keep using their Windows 10 systems while also providing regular security updates and features like data encryption, Chrome OS is significantly less popular than other operating systems,
Oh.
And in January 2024, it held a 1.8% share of the worldwide desktop OS market, far behind Windows' share of about 73%. This is according to data from research firm StatCounter. ChromOS has struggled with wider adaptability due to its incompatibility with legacy Windows applications and productivity suites used by businesses. Google said that ChromOS would allow users to stream legacy Windows and productivity applications, which will help deliver them to devices by running the apps on a data center. So this is Chrome OS Flex, which is different than Chrome OS, I guess.
Well,
It's not the one that you have on a Chromebook. It's something.
well, it's similar.
It's probably it's probably the same feel and all that, but it
Yes.
probably does different things. And
I don't know. I'm reading about it right now. Well,
Yeah.
the big thing about it is what you keep describing, is it's running some of the apps in the cloud.
Yeah.
So for very for very old devices,
Correct.
probably devices when devices you may have not even been able to put Windows 10 on. For those devices, you can run this and it will run a lot of that stuff in the cloud.
Yeah, but I mean, for you, it'll make that computer useful for you because you'll be able to
Sure.
accomplish, well, not everything, but something. It all depends what you do. I mean, I
Right.
would not run my home office on one of these.
No,
Yeah.
probably.
Right. So that's
I actually might install this. I use a old Intel one of the Intel stick computers, one of the NUC sticks
Yep.
for my Home Assistant computer, which is up kind of next to where my camera is. It just displays Home Assistant. Maybe I should try and install this and see what happens. I'm
all right,
running Windows 8 on it. So,
you can try.
yeah, I'll have to read it because it looks like it dual boots.
A what? A dual boot?
Well, that's what it looks like.
Huh.
Because didn't you say you said something about it will continue to run on the other operating system?
No, it says that it would allow users to stream legacy Windows and productivity applications, which will help deliver them to devices by running the apps on a data center. So,
Oh. I thought you read something earlier, but no, I'm reading the installation instructions. You create a bootable
okay, it says
USB.
the Chrome operating system will ultimately allow users to keep using their Windows 10 systems. The computers, I believe they're talking about the computers, not
Understood. That's terrible
Yeah.
writing. Yeah, looking at the installation instructions, it is a bootable USB device. So you are
Wow.
flashing.
Interesting.
Well, no, I
That's
mean,
nice.
it's no different. It's an OS install. I mean,
Yeah,
for
nice.
years now, people have taken old laptops and installed
Yeah.
Linux on them.
Yeah.
Really lightweight Linux Mint or the really lightweight versions of Ubuntu or Lubuntu.
Yeah.
To keep those things operational. And if I'm Google, this is a great idea. Here's the real
is.
question though. It's free.
Mhm.
How long is it going to be free? Because there is a cost for Google for you to use this because everything's running in the cloud, meaning you're taking data center processing time.
Yeah. I guess it depends how many people would adapt it, then they'll decide.
Yeah, well, that's always the issue is
Yeah.
that you start using a free service,
Yeah.
and then it might not become free after a period of time.
Yeah. Very possible.
Yeah.
And nVidia is now the third most valuable company in the US.
There we go.
surpassing Google parent Alphabet and Amazon. It's only behind Apple and Microsoft in terms of market cap. That's interesting. Just because of AI, I guess.
Yeah, it's all AI.
It's all AI. Yeah, it's all because of DNS.
Oh, we're a big fan of that as well.
DuckDuckGo keeps adding new features to its browser, and while these features are common in other browsers, DuckDuckGo is giving them a privacy minded twist. The latest is private end to end encrypted syncing device service. There's no account needed to sign in, and the company says it never sees what you're syncing. So I guess you have to have, again, you have to have some kind of practical use for this. And I think this is everything that I have. Oh, you were talking also about that speaker in the specials
No,
Wha-
the Microsoft one. Yeah.
that has Dolby Atmos.
Sorry. No, that was the that was the Amazon A word that has Dolby.
Oh,
Mhm.
so Amazon Prime Video has cut Dolby Vision and Atmos support from their ad tier subscription. How important is that? I don't know. I mean, I never enable, disable. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm not into the I'm not
Okay.
into that ecosystem.
That's on top of the ads that Amazon injected into services on January 29th. Now, when you pay $2.99 a month to remove those ads, you can get Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos back as well. I don't
Hmm.
know. It's a way for them to get people to pay the money. I really I have no idea. Just like, I have no idea what that stuff is, but not important. Well, that's it.
That is all.
That is all. That is all.
Okay.
So anything you want to add? It's that time of day.
No, I don't think so. Let me just look in my calendar real quick and see. Oh, I don't have anything going on this next weekend, so we should be back next Sunday.
All right. But as time gets closer to November, we're not going to see you much, right?
No, well, it depends. I mean, the only time is when I'm just out of town.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I actually should be. I should be in town most of the year.
Yeah. All right, Nick.
So,
Well, thanks.
thank you,
It's been great. And
as always.
thank you, Gal. You know, he's driving now. And I don't know what happened to Katie. But she didn't say she was not going to show up, but I hope everything is fine. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov Yael, Yaakov and Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. And don't forget to change any same password where you see them, wherever you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM in Wilmington. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave, or you can go later on to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Nick and Brian also do the Infection podcast every week on Twitch for survival games and gaming and some political points here and there. Just go to infectionpodcast.com and find out when is the live show going to be. It jumps different days. Or you can always just go to infectionpodcast.com and download the recording and listen to it. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy it. And we'll be back together next week. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.